Have you ever truly wondered who you are? What if you're not simply living your life, but rather life itself? This grand game we call the universe is playing you. We humans have always been planning our own paths, trying to make life better. For thousands of years, we have desperately searched for the meaning of existence, firmly believing that time and space are everything in reality, that what our eyes see is the whole truth, right? But the most chilling thought is, maybe what we can't see is actually the true force behind everything. There is a power beyond our understanding that is silently shaping the universe, controlling the motion of galaxies, influencing the very flow of time. But what if reality is not as we imagine? Think about it. What if a video game character became aware of the player controlling them? This is no longer just a scientific question, but an exploration involving cognition, philosophy, and even the soul. From ancient times until now, humans have wrestled with the essence of the universe. The Babylonians precisely recorded celestial phenomena, believing that the sky was a dome over the earth. The ancient Greeks proposed the concept of multiple worlds. The philosopher Anaximander boldly suggested that the universe is infinite, filled with other universes far beyond our comprehension. By the 9th century, the Iraqi philosopher Al-Kindi went even further, imagining that the infinity of the universe even surpasses our ability to perceive it. This means reality may not just be what we observe in front of us at all. As time fast-forwards to the present, our understanding of the universe has undergone a dramatic transformation. It's no exaggeration to say that we now know the universe is not static. It's expanding at an astonishing speed. When you look up at the night sky, what you see are endless stars, planets, and galaxies spread across vast space. But between them exist enormous, mysterious voids. The presence of these voids means that the large-scale structure of the universe is not uniform. Is this just a random statistical anomaly, or is there a deeper secret controlling all of it? The concept of cosmic expansion really begins with Edwin Hubble in the early 20th century. He discovered that the universe is expanding, and from this, deduced for the first time that the universe had a beginning, what we now know as the Big Bang. This discovery directly triggered a new question for humankind. What is causing the universe's expansion to accelerate faster and faster? In response, scientists proposed the concept of cosmic inflation, an attempt to explain how the universe experienced an extremely brief yet ultra-violent period of expansion. But how exactly did this explosive inflation happen? Over the past few decades, the mainstream explanation has been dark energy, an invisible yet mysterious force that makes up about 70% of the universe. If we divide all the energy in the universe, it roughly looks like this: 70% dark energy, 25% dark matter, and only the remaining 5% is everything we can see. All the stars, galaxies, dust, planets, including you and me. But wait, what if dark energy isn't something spontaneously generated within the universe itself? What if it's actually being pulled in from outside the universe by some kind of external force? Imagine a balloon that keeps getting bigger. We usually think it's because someone is blowing air into it. But what if there's something outside pulling on the balloon instead? If our four-dimensional space-time is actually nested within a five-dimensional membrane structure, then so-called cosmic expansion might just be an extension of some force from the five-dimensional world. A professor, president of the New York Astronomical Society and physicist, gave an analogy. Imagine an oil droplet spreading across the surface of water. This is like our universe slowly expanding within a larger dimensional space. In other words, the expansion we observe may not be driven by an internal force, but rather by tension from a higher dimension. Just like how an oil film on water automatically spreads out. If such tension could be harnessed, it might even make sliding through the fifth dimension possible, like a mosquito gliding on the water's surface. That would mean we could bypass the physical limits of the four-dimensional world, achieving true leap-style movement, or even escaping the constraints of time itself. this theory isn't alone. In physicist Lisa Randall's Randall-Sundrum model, there are similar ideas, suggesting that our perceived world may be connected through some kind of membrane in other dimensions. This might explain why gravity feels so weak compared to other forces. But this leads to an even bolder question. Is the reality we see complete? Or is it merely some kind of user interface? Professor Donald Hoffman, a cognitive scientist at the University of California, Irvine, proposed a theory that could overturn common sense. The world we see is just a user interface. Just like the interface on your computer looks neat and organized, but behind it lies a level of complexity involving voltages, circuits, and data streams that humans can't truly comprehend. What you see are folder icons and windows, but in reality, you're actually triggering a bunch of underlying code. Similarly, our vision, hearing, and touch might also just be graphical interfaces provided by evolution, not the true essence of reality. Hoffman even believes that space and time are not fundamental properties that actually exist. They are simply the result of our cognition. In his book, The Case Against Reality, Hoffman further proposes that the material world may have been born from consciousness, not the other way around. He imagines that beyond our cognition, there may exist completely unfamiliar forms of consciousness that we simply don't know about. And this isn't because we're stupid, but because our brains evolved for survival, not for understanding the universe. It's like how you cannot imagine a color you've never seen before, even if it really exists. For example, there is a rare group of women with a unique genetic mutation known as tetrachromacy. They possess 4 color receptors and can perceive color dimensions that those of us with standard trichromatic vision cannot detect. They live in a world beyond our imagination. And this isn't science fiction. It's a real physiological difference. And that's just from having 1 extra color receptor. So what if we increase that by 10 times, 100 times, 1,000,000 times? Our way of dealing with it is simply majority rule. Minority views are often ignored. But if we really think about it, what exactly is red? We don't truly know. Could there also be other forms of consciousness capable of perceiving dimensions that we are fundamentally unable to comprehend? Maybe what we're missing isn't more data, but a kind of mutation, an evolutionary leap that allows us to understand the data itself. Hoffman's core idea is that consciousness is fundamental, not matter. The physical world we see is woven together by countless interacting conscious entities. For example, when you see 2 pictures, your brain automatically fills in what they would look like combined. When you see a blurry face, you can still tell whether it looks like a person or not. That's consciousness at work. It's not just data processing, it's understanding, perception, and intuition. Which brings us back to the ultimate question of consciousness. What exactly are we? Next are the 3 main theories of consciousness. The first is dualism. It suggests that mind and matter are separate. You are not your brain. Your thoughts exist as something non-material, a ghost in the machine. In other words, thought is a kind of non-physical ghost residing in our body. But this theory has a fatal flaw. If mind and body are disconnected, then how does thought make the body move? When you decide to raise your hand, what kind of non-physical force activates the neurons? No one can explain it clearly. That's why more and more scientists lean toward the second explanation, physicalism. This view holds that everything is the result of matter, including consciousness. What you think is subjective experience is actually just the exchange of signals between neurons. Consciousness is merely a byproduct of the brain's complex structure, nothing mysterious. But another problem arises. If consciousness is just a byproduct of matter, why can we feel it? Why does red look red? Why does love make our hearts race? Why does coffee taste bitter? A computer also processes information, but it doesn't feel anything. And so, a third theory emerged: panpsychism. He proposed a radical idea. Consciousness doesn't only exist in brains. Every fundamental particle in the universe holds a tiny bit of consciousness. Just like mass and energy, consciousness could be a fundamental property of reality. It's not that every stone has thoughts, but the particles within them might hold faint traces of awareness. Our complex conscious experience would then be the sum of these tiny conscious fragments. But panpsychism faces a challenge called the combination problem. How do countless tiny consciousnesses merge into one unified experience? Who leads? Who follows? No clear answer exists. Yet this idea opens up a staggering possibility. If consciousness is everywhere, is the universe itself thinking? It sounds like science fiction, but maybe that's the unseen layer of reality we've been missing all along. The deeper we dig, the clearer it becomes. Reality might not be what we always believed it to be.